3 in a row for Alinghi in Lisbon. Sickline Extreme Kayak in Austria. Vendée Globe countdown. And now in the newsroom, here's Jerome Alinghi. NC Sports, plunge into the action.
Welcome back to NC Sports. I'm Jerome Alinghi. With the season's end looming, things are heating up on the major circuits, and now, of course, the action is getting better than ever. While for others, the start of a great new adventure is just days away. Here's the lineup. In our top stories today, WSL shakeup in France. Tyler Wright takes the world title. Surprise victory on the men's break with Keanu Asing. 3 in a row for Alinghi in Lisbon as Minoprio and Hagara steal the show. But Oman Air clings to the leadership. We'll also plunge down the Alps on the Wellerbrücke Rapids in Austria for the 2016 Sickline Extreme Kayak World Championship. Then, in the briefs, all the latest from the PWA Sylt Grand Slam. Aquabike, Abdulrazzaq, Poret and Orthendal conquer Liuzhou. The Benussi brothers get the win, while Ben Ainslie takes the cruise. With 1,800 boats on the start, it's the amazing Barcolana in Italy's Trieste. The countdown is on and the tension is rising. Vendée Globe update with the latest from Les Sables. Plus, and the nominees are the full who's who on the candidates at the 2016 Sailor of the Year Awards. The WSL Championship Tour is down to the wire, and the French stopover in Londres this week became key in the battle for the titles. The results and the insight next on Top Story.
Oh, frick. God, there's a lot that's gone into this, a lot of hours and a lot of fun and a lot of moments that there's a lot of reasons why I set out to win this world title this year, and you know, a lot of reasons that I didn't mention to the public. Last year, you know, was such a hectic year, even this year, and you know, I lost an uncle, and this was his last event that he ever saw me compete in. A lot of emotional moments, and but pretty much from that moment, I promised him that I would win a world title, and I did. And yeah, and from that point, you know, so many things happened this year, and Owen and my family and my mum, and I just love them so much.
Congratulations, Tyler. Yeah!
With this very emotional outburst of both joy and relief, Tyler Wright celebrated her brand new 2016 Championship Tour crown. Her direct opponent in second place in the overall season standings, American Courtney Conlogue, also proved that she can and will fight to the bittersweet end. Hawaii's Carissa Moore won the French event, closing third for the season. Meanwhile, next door at the Quicksilver Pro, outsider Keanu Asing took on the big boys. First, narrowly defeating world number 1 and fellow Hawaiian JJ Florence in the semi, and then ripping Brazil's Gabriel Medina apart 1394-7. Effectively pulling away at the top of the overall leaderboard, both Florence and Medina are now set for the final bouts in Portugal and at Pipeline in Hawaii. No mistakes allowed. Now, those of you who got to watch Act 7 live from Lisbon last Sunday on Nautical Channel got an absolutely sensational show on the water, possibly one of the most captivating stopovers of this 2016 Extreme Sailing Series. Now sealing its third straight win, Team Alinghi reconfirmed the Swiss hunger for the title, and this time left Oman Air to tangle against the Red Bull and Norauto. The latter new entry is the powerful French team led by Kayak, now also crossing over from the GC32 Racing Tour with Minoprio on helm. Great short track foiling, so let's take a look. Top sailing and flying action hit Lisbon last weekend as Nautical Channel viewers got to follow live a sensational Act 7 of the Extreme Sailing Series. Rarely off the podium in the 23 races held in Portugal, Team Alinghi, with this year's revelation, Arnaud Sarofagis on helm, put down its third straight ace. Now just a single point overall behind Morgan Larsen's Oman Air, the Swiss are ready to pounce for the Sydney final in December. But this was no walkover. Adding to some pretty stiff competition, Team Norauto, led by Adam Minoprio, also joined the Extreme Fleet in Lisbon. Already a winner on the GC32 Racing Tour, with an event to spare, the French America's Cup team, directed by Franck Kayak, quickly shattered the balance of power with a second place. Third spot here and overall for the Austria's Hagara and Steinacher on Red Bull, still close enough to catch the leaders. Meanwhile, Oman Air, with its disappointing fourth place, is now forced to the ropes. And with the double point final scheduled in Australia, this remains an open series to the very end. What a nail-biting finale at the Extreme Sailing Series this season. Larsen Sarofagis or possibly even Hagara. This can still go any which way. Now let's go deep into the Austrian Alps, where there's always plenty of water sports action. It's that time of the year again. World-class athletes and experienced amateurs from all walks of life met up for the annual Sickline Extreme Kayak World Championship. Claudia Casagrande has the story.
The world's best canoeists and kayakers came together in Austria's Ötztal Valley to take on the infamous Wellerbrücke Rapids in the 2016 Sickline Extreme Kayak World Championship. Wedged between two huge mountains, the treacherous 280-meter-long course of whitewater was made even tougher this year by low water levels and water temps of just 5 degrees Celsius. The men's camp saw the closest final ever, with three-time champ Sam Sutton from New Zealand missing out on his fourth title by a mere 0.01 seconds, behind Spaniard Aniol Serasulces, brother of 2015 title holder Herd. Triple freestyle world champion American Dane Jackson, famous for having once run the rapids 50 times in one day, took the bronze, just 0.48 seconds behind the winner. Among the women, Sandra Hislop, a 26-year-old teacher from the UK who's been kayaking since she was 10, had the best run of the day to capture the gold, just 0.46 seconds faster than France's Nuria Newman, grabbing silver. Fellow slalom canoeist Martina Wegman from the Netherlands completed the podium. A total of 175 athletes from 29 countries with backgrounds ranging from sheep herders to engineers took part in this 9th edition of the Sickline.
We'll be right back after the break with more news and insight, including the mounting tension in Les Sables for the start of the Vendée Globe and the who's who on the list of nominees at the next Sailor of the Year Awards. But first, the PWA World Tour has just completed its Sylt Grand Slam Classic, Aquabike World Championship stopover in China, and almost 1,800 boats sail the Barcolana in Trieste, with a special guest, Ben Ainslie, spotted on board. Next on the NC Sports Briefs.
Jose Golito Estrada walked away with his 7th freestyle world crown as the PWA Grand Slam came to a close on the island of Sylt off Germany's northeastern coast. The 10-day showdown featured competition across all disciplines from the men as well as the women's wave. Armando Vrieswijk, who led going into the finals, saw his hopes for his first ever title dashed and had to settle for second, while Adrien Bosson stole third. In the men's slalom, Matteo Iachino took the number 1 spot ahead of Gonzalo Costa-Jovel and Julian Kentel finishing third. Alex Mussolini triumphed in the men's wave, followed by Thomas Traversa in second and Jaeger Stone in third. While in the women's wave, Ibaya Moreno came out on top, Daida Moreno grabbed second, and Sarakito Ofringa rounded out third.
The UAM ABP Aquabike circuit stopped over in China for the Grand Prix of Liuzhou. Full throttle action in the runabout Moto 1 class and the victory of Youssef Al Abdulrazzaq from Kuwait. But only after a tight battle against the Britain's James Bushell, out with a broken drive shaft. Jeremy Poret had plenty to celebrate, and with this win on the River Liu, the French rider also clinched his 4th world title in men's ski GP1. While in the women's camp, a Swedish revelation, Emma Nelly Orthendal, went unrivaled, edging closer to the world crown. Liuzhou also offered a major freestyle battle between multiple world champ Rok Florjancic from Croatia and Rashid Al-Mola of the UAE. Super tight final score for The Rock, 94-92.
They came in droves from all 4 corners of the globe, but it was local sailors Furio and Gabriele Benussi on Alfa Romeo Shockwave who emerged triumphant at the 48th edition of the Fall Classic Barcolana Trieste. The brothers, sailing together for the first time in 12 years, completed the crossing of the Gulf of Trieste in 59 minutes and 59 seconds, fighting off Slovenian Mitja Kuzmina on Maxi Jenna, who captured his 9th second-place finish, and favorite Lorenzo Bodini on Pendragon, coming in third. A strong north wind delayed the start of the Mediterranean's largest regatta in order to allow all 1,758 boats to reach the starting line, including VIP entries like sailing legend Sir Ben Ainslie, taking turns at the helm of Ancilla Domini, with fellow great Mauro Pelasquier to finish in 14th position. The Barcolana Regatta is part of a larger sailing festival that attracts upwards of 250,000 spectators each fall.
In France, it's not just a race, it's a national treasure. In the rest of the world, it's a living example of how it's done. The toughest, greatest, and most legendary single-handed, non-stop round-the-world regatta is due to start in a matter of days. For some, it's all about the last-minute tests and checks. For others, it's still a race against the clock. The fleet is now gathering in Les Sables d'Olonne, so let's take a peek at what's going on at the docks. There's no race nor event in any sport quite like the Vendée Globe Challenge. 22,000 nautical miles from and back to Les Sables, with Antarctica as a single mark to go round. More than just a massively tough regatta around the world, it is also a unique personal adventure for each and every sailor in the fleet. 29 skippers are expected on the start line for Sunday, November 6, and Nautical Channel will be there with a marathon live broadcast. The 8th edition officially kicks off this Saturday with the opening of the new Vendée Globe Village, expected to receive the hundreds of thousands of visitors coming to town. As shown in all past editions since 1989, the people of Les Sables and crowds of passionate fans have come in droves, not just for the spectacle on the docks and at the start, but also months later for all the skippers' arrivals, down to the last position. Such is the spirit of the Vendée Globe in France. The fleet is now slowly trickling into port, following their very last training sessions and last-minute checks. This will be a time for reviewing all race procedures, weather forecasting, or meeting the fans and the press, until the toughest of moments, the goodbyes, an excruciating experience that will only find relief at the cannon blast. While the fleet gathers in Les Sables, speculation of course is mounting on who will likely be the top favorites at this edition. Now this is an extremely competitive race, and with different generation boats, for sure we'll see a 2 or even 3-tier regatta. Plus, with both foilers and the non-foilers on the water, this is going to be an even tougher race to call. Speed, reliability, endurance, experience, or very often simply luck. So many factors playing into winning it. One thing is certain, this will be one of the most technologically advanced editions of the Vendée Globe Challenge to date. The makeup of the fleet brings together the entire evolution of the IMOCA 60 class from the last 2 decades. With designs that dating back to 2007 posing little or no threat against the present-day war machines, the race will inevitably develop into multiple packs, with possibly some surprises. For the top tier, the chase is on for the 78-day record set by François Gabart in 2013, and equaled by Armel Leclerc just minutes behind after the longest match race in the history of sailing. Armel is back again, and with a new foiling Banque Populaire 8. There is a man with a motivation, but he's not alone. There's also an entire new generation of boats with experienced skippers on the prowl. Among other top favorites are Jean-Pierre Dick on Saint-Michel-Virbach, Sébastien Josse on Edmond de Rothschild, Morgan Lagravière with Safran, Jérémy Bayou and Maître Coq, Britain's Alex Thompson on Hugo Boss, and a supercharged non-foiling PRB skippered by an old fox like Vincent Rioux. This is clearly a trial edition for the new foiling IMOCA 60s, but if they do pass the round-the-world endurance test, records are expected to crumble once again. To no one's surprise, Rio 2016 medalists packed the full roster of nominees for the next Sailor of the Year Awards to be held on November 8 in Barcelona. And you can be a part of it. Public online voting starts Friday, November 4 at 1200 UTC for a period of 72 hours. Releasing the shortlist of 5 women and 5 men, World Sailing added that this is the most prestigious recognition in the sport, awarded only to those who have demonstrated unparalleled endurance, performance, and accomplishment in sailing. Among the ladies, the nominees are Holland's Marit Bouwmeester on the Laser Radial, Cecilia Carranza Saroli, Argentina, in NACRA 17. Brazilian hosts Martina Grael and Kahina Kunze for their 49er FX Gold. Team GBR's Hannah Mills and Saskia Clark in 470, and France's Charline Picon, also with a Rio Gold in the RSX. On the men's roster are unmistakably New Zealand's Peter Burling and Blair Tuke, and not just for their remarkable record-winning streak and their gold medal win in Rio on the 49ers, but also for their performance at the America's Cup World Series. Other golden nominations went to Sime Fantela and Igor Marinic for their 470 win, Santiago Alinghi on the Nacra 17, the UK's Giles Scott in the Finn class, while France's Paralympian Damien Seguin earned himself a spot with a gold in the 2.4 meter. Full voting details are expected to be released online by World Sailing shortly. To find out more, simply go to www.sailing.org. Full updates in the next NC Sports editions. World Championship battles expected in Sardinia with WKL Big Air and Freestyle, and in Portugal for the men's WSL Benussi Pro, a key stop on the tour. Plus, it's almost Hanseboat time in Germany. Mark the dates on the NC Sports calendar.
Top-ranked men and women of kiteboarding will hit the waters of Porto Polo, Italy for the final confrontation of the 2016 IKA Championships from October 16th to 22nd. With winds of up to 40 knots and seamlessly flat water, Porto Polo will set the stage for some thrilling performances from the likes of Carlos Mario, Yuri Zun, Bruna Kajia, Annabelle von Westrop, and Kevin Langery as they chase the Big Air and Freestyle crowns. Top guns of men's surfing head to Piniquet, Portugal for the 10th and penultimate stop of the 2016 WSL Men's CT from October 18th to 29th. John Florence currently leads overall, but will be hard-pressed to defend his position from wave masters like Gabriel Medina, Matt Wilkinson, and Jordy Smith, all hovering within range of the coveted CT title, playing out at the Billabong Pipe Masters season finale in Oahu in December. Gets ready to host the 57th edition of the International Hanseboot Nautical Sports and Boat Show from October 29th to November 6th. Apart from the customary fare of industry trends and innovations, this year's program also features an inaugural collaboration with BoatFit Bremen that will allow boat owners to repair and refurbish selected boats under the skillful guidance of refit yard experts.
Each week, we are simply amazed at the sheer amount of exceptional events and personal stories that reach this newsroom. It's not always about the great imagery or the prestige. Very often, it's about the passion that makes it happen. That's why before we go, we'll leave you with this clip just in from the Optimist World Championships in Angola. I'm Jerome Alinghi. Thanks for watching. And remember, plunge into the action with NC Sports.